May 17th meeting to order. The clerk, please call roll.
Mayor Peck.
Here.
Commissioner Angel. Commissioner Arpke.
Here.
Commissioner Jennings.
Here.
Commissioner Larson.
Here.
Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, I'd like to open this up for the Citizens Open Forum. This is a time for any citizen to come up and discuss anything that is not on today's agenda, if there's any topic of concern or interest. Okay, we'll move on to awards and proclamations.
Item 4.1, presentation of plaques of appreciation to outgoing youth board members.
All right, Blaine? This is a plaque on behalf of the City of Salina in appreciation for service rendered to the City of Salina, Kansas, for your time on the Arts and Humanities Commission as our youth representative. Do you have any comments you'd like to make about your experience?
I would just say thank you to Connie Bonfi and all the other commissioners, and they're a very insightful and motivated group of people that have the best interest of Salina in all they do, and it was a very interesting and fun experience to see them in action. So.
Very good. Thank you very much for your help. And is Christopher Arpin here? Okay.
Item 4.2, the day of May 22nd, 2010, as Poppy Day in the City of Salina. Sue Herman with the American Legion Auxiliary will read the proclamation.
Our Poppy Day. Whereas America is the land of freedom preserved and protected willingly and freely by citizen soldiers. Whereas those who have answered the call to arms have died on the field of battle. Whereas a nation of peace must be reminded of the price of war and the debt owed to those who have died in war. Whereas the red poppy has been designated as a symbol of sacrifice of all lives in all wars. And whereas the American Legion Auxiliary has pledged to remind America annually of this debt through the distribution of the memorial flower. Therefore, I, Aaron Peck, Mayor of the City of Salina, do hereby proclaim May 26, 2010, as Poppy Day, and ask that all citizens pay tribute to those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in the name of freedom by wearing the memorial poppy on this day.
Very good. Sue, do you have any special activities planned for Poppy Day?
Well, our Poppy Drive this coming Saturday will be at Walmart, Kmart, Sunset Dillon's. And if we get more volunteers to help out, I will be at the other Dillon stores as well.
Very good. I have a signed copy of this proclamation.
Thank you.
Item 4.3, the week of May 16th through the 22nd, 2010, is National Public Works Week in the City of Salina. Joe Sherminsky, maintenance worker with the Public Works Department, will read the proclamation.
The proclamation of the City of Salina, Kansas. Whereas public work services provided in our community are an integral part of our citizens' everyday lives, and whereas the support of an understanding and informed citizenry is vital to the efficient operation of public work systems and programs such as streets and highways, stormwater and levee systems, solid waste collection and disposal operations, municipal fleet maintenance services, water treatment and distribution, wastewater collection and treatment, engineering and inspection, public facilities, and whereas the health, safety, and comfort of this community greatly depends on these services and facilities each and every day, as well as in the times of emergency and community disaster, and whereas the quality and effectiveness of these services and facilities, as well as their planning, design, and construction, is vitally dependent upon the efforts and skill of public works officials, and whereas the efficiency of a qualified and dedicated personnel who staff Public Works Department is materially influenced by the people's attitude and understanding of the importance of the work they perform. Now, therefore, I, Aaron G. Peck, Mayor of the City of Salina, do hereby proclaim the week of May 16th through May 22nd, 2010 as National Public Works Week.
Joe, do you have anything special planned, any activities?
Yes, Mayor. On Thursday, May 20th from 4 to 7 p.m., there's an open house that will be held at the Public Works General Service Building located at 412 East Ash. The work and the equipment of the public's work will be displayed, and staff members will be there to answer questions to the public. Refreshments will be provided. And then on Friday, May 21st, the City of Salina Public Works staff will provide and prepare a hamburger, hot dog, and potluck luncheon for the men and women of the Public Works Department. And then following, there will be an award ceremony to recognize the outstanding achievements of the Public Works Department. That's from 1 to 2:30 p.m. at the Friendship Center.
Very good. Unfortunately, I'm going to be leaving and will be out of town for the open house, but if there's commissioners who have not gone to the Public Works open house, that's extremely informative and pretty neat to see the equipment and the folks who run the stuff. So thank you very much, and I've got a signed copy of this proclamation. Okay, we do not have any public hearings or items scheduled for a certain time, so we'll go ahead and move on to the consent agenda.
Item 6.1, approve the minutes of May 10th, 2010. Item 6.2, authorize the purchase of a transporter for the rotating camera from Q's in the amount of $16,786.52. Item 6.3, authorize the purchase of 2 variable speed turbo compressors from ABS USA in the amount of $216,240. Item 6.4, resolution number 10-6737, appointing Kaylee Brown to the Arts and Humanities Commission and Mary Ralston to the Parks and Recs Advisory Board as youth members.
Is there any particular item that a commissioner has a question about or would like to see removed from the consent agenda? If not, I'll accept a motion.
Move we approve the consent agenda.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. There is no development business, so we'll move on to administration.
Item 8.1, second reading charter ordinance number 36, exempting from the provisions of KSA sections 12-4202, 12-4203, 12-4204, and 12-4207 regarding public officials with the authority to sign and serve municipal court complaint and notice to appear.
This ordinance was passed on first reading. Since that time, is there anyone from the public who would like to comment? Any commissioners have any questions or comments? I'd accept a motion. Excuse me. Yeah.
Mayor,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve Charter Ordinance number 36 on second reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve Charter Ordinance number 36 on second reading. Would the clerk please call roll?
Commissioner Arpke?
Aye.
Commissioner Jennings?
Aye.
Commissioner Larson?
Aye.
Mayor Peck?
Aye. Motion carries 4-0.
Item 8.2, consider a request to establish a program that encourages youth participation of the City of Salina advisory boards and commissions.
Ms. McDonald.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This program would be an extension of the program that we already have that you just gave a plaque to Blaine for, and it would encourage more youth to be involved in the different advisory boards based on what their what their interests are and enthusiasm about city government. We'd like to increase that potential for young people. We'd also like to look at broadening the number of resources we'd look to find youth who might be interested. One of the things that we looked at as we went back through the program is most of the, if not all of the representatives came from Junior Leadership Salina, which is a great program, and we'd like to continue to have people come from there, but we'd like to expand the opportunities for possibly some at-risk kids, kids from other schools, from other churches maybe, really broadening the horizons at who we look at. We also would like to lower the age range from 14 up to 21, and we say 21 in that we'd like to look at some of the junior colleges like K-State Salina and some places that might have VOTEC schools that might have interests around some of the planning meetings and groups that you've heard about this afternoon. The youth who would be on there, we'd also like to extend it to 2 youth per advisory committee, so that there's a feeling of kind of comradeship, that there are 2 people together who are kind of in this together. We'd like to develop a program that would create mentors who would be people who would be on those committees to kind of help young people out, especially as they get started, to have a better understanding of what the committee is about, what their purpose is about, and especially how the meeting is run, just the basic Robert's Rules of Orders and things like that we hope will benefit young people then as they graduate to be involved in not-for-profit boards around the city, and hopefully get more involved in city activities too. We think it will be a benefit to the city to hear another voice and another opportunity for young people to tell us what they see as important in the city of Salina. So we think it's a good situation for all of us to participate with. In the information that I did some research on as we were looking at these programs, one of the things that they told us is you might have to provide some transportation for kids, so we have a really small fiscal note in there that would only be used for kids who may need some support in getting to the different advisory council meetings and any kind of support around that we can help with. That's basically it. I'd be happy to stand for questions.
Any questions, Ms. McDonald?
Let me just say that I think this is a great idea. I have sat on a few boards, one of them being the Arts and Humanities, and when I see some of the youth liaison that are there, sometimes I wondered if they wondered why they were there because of the not able to vote. And I totally get that, especially if they're under 18 years of age. But I think this is a great way to involve them even more and to have them count more. Organizations like Arts and Humanities, I know, we're very good at and the board member or the youth that was not here, what board was that? Was that Parks and Rec? I know that they have things outside the scope of their board meetings that allows the youth to participate or be a part of. So when I read this a few days ago, I thought this was a great idea.
I would also like to involve, in fact, I'll probably hit Blaine up before he gets out of here, but I'd like to involve youth as we do training with the current boards to get them comfortable with the fact that young people are coming, and have people who have been on boards tell us what they didn't like or what they felt uncomfortable about or what would make them feel more comfortable as they do that, because I think this has to be a partnership as we go all the way through it.
Very good. Thank you.
Commissioner, just an FYI too, when we finalize those boards, we'll probably be bringing back to codify a resolution or something to do that, so that you know that. But Gina's put a lot of work into this and has a lot of neat ideas come out of this. We talked about, for example, 2 instead of 1. It's more comfortable per board to do that. The idea that they vote, but the vote doesn't count because we don't want to be in a situation where we're identifying like 2 votes for a demographic, but we want them to be a part and actually have responsibility, and it even shows up in the minutes as a non-official vote, but that helps their mind to think and to be a part of that. And so just some wonderful ideas that came out of that, and I want to give Gina a lot of credit, and we think it's going to go a long way in moving us forward with working with our youth.
Yeah, very good. Thank you very much. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission.
Mayor, I move that we direct the city manager and staff from the Human Relations Department to work with the advisory boards.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we direct the city manager and staff to basically establish a program that encourages youth participation on City of Salina advisory boards. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0.
Item 8.3, award a contract for the Pacific Avenue Improvements Project number 051526 or 28.
Mr. Stack.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. We had a bid award last week for the Pacific Avenue project that was started in 2004, resolution passed in 2005 to kind of connect with the North Ohio Overpass project to complete the area, and then since then we proposed sidewalks on the sides of that road as well. So as it's evolved and been designed and now sidewalks have been added, we finally got it to bid and received favorable bids, also for concrete in this case. So we are proposing to accept the concrete bid, which is a little over $1,200 more than the asphalt bid. This will add curb and gutter and a little bit of underground storm sewer, sidewalks, new and improved pavement, and that's, I guess, really it. The question was ditches. I know in that area it is a historic flooding concern, and there was very challenging to get rid of the ditches. So the ditches will still remain, but they'll be graded, and we'll actually have some curb and gutter on the street that will direct the flow to what did exist. There is a little bit of storm sewer out there that we were able to connect to, but the ditches will not all go away. But we were able to fit the sidewalk in and make it work. So it's going to be a much improved area, or a much improved street than it was before. So I'll entertain questions.
Any questions, Mr. Stack?
Commissioners, as a side note, give Dan some credit on this one too. When he mentioned sidewalks, when we did the North Ohio project, sometimes you'd hear people say, well, there's a sidewalk on the bridge that goes down to the intersection there, Pacific, and goes nowhere, right? Well, we've said before that if we built more sidewalks, 20 years ago, if we built more sidewalks and went nowhere, we'd have more sidewalks that go somewhere today. In this case, we don't have to wait 20 years because this project will actually link up not only with the connecting link of the roadway, but bring that around that new Pacific up to that intersection. So we'll actually link up our community in that area of town. So give them a lot of credit for that.
I was curious, what have we seen with concrete prices lately? It seemed like a couple years ago, asphalt and concrete were almost neck and neck, and maybe, I don't remember if there was a bid that we received where concrete was actually less or not, but
There has been.
what have we been seeing trending there?
This is typical right here. So we feel like we're as staff, we've tried to go through and figure out what is going to be the breaking point of how much how much less does asphalt need to be than concrete to make it worth it, because asphalt requires quite a bit more maintenance than concrete does. So we've come up with some of those numbers, and we'll try to get those to you later this year. But for this one, we didn't have to worry about it as much.
Sure.
We have another one opening tomorrow for the Menards Magnolia Commons, so we'll see how that one fares, and then we'll have to visit that again. But
You're kind of developing some sort of matrix to look at that says
it'd
that
sure be
this
helpful.
cost differential.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and we have kind of some historical costs and figures of crack seal and microsurfacing, and so we think we can come up with that. But there's, of course, both sides, depending on who does the analysis. Thought we'd just do our best to do an independent analysis, and then the asphalt and concrete guys can shoot holes in it, and we'll see how it goes. We'll do our best to work with those guys as well, but it's definitely something that needs to be done, and it's making the competition good for us so far. It has over the last couple of years.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any public comment? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission.
Mayor, I move we approve the city project 05-1528, 15 Pacific Avenue improvements to APAC, Kansas, Shears Division of Salina in the amount of $440,436.90 with an approved contingency of 3%.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we award city project number 05-1528 to APAC Shears. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0.
Item 8.4, second reading ordinance number 10-10546, providing a change in zoning district classification from R1 to PDD R3 to allow construction of a new fiveplex apartment building on property addressed as 662 through 664 South 9th Street.
Okay, this zoning classification change was approved on first reading in our last meeting. So I'll accept a motion to approve this on second reading.
Mayor, I move that we adopt ordinance number 10-10546 on second reading.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt ordinance number 10-10546 on second reading. Would the clerk please call roll?
Commissioner Arpke?
Aye.
Commissioner Jennings?
Aye.
Commissioner Larson?
Aye.
Mayor Peck?
Aye. Motion carries 4-0.
Item 8.5, approve an agreement for engineering services for the Cedar Ridge Drive improvements, project number 10-2809.
Mr. Stack.
Thank you again, Mayor and Commissioners. This project is a connecting link, Cedar Ridge, that of some improved area to a part of town that's developing to Markley Road, basically. It's a 1,000-foot section that would link up an old county road, basically, with the new section that's been developed through there. BWR has been performing design services in that area for quite a while, starting with Marymount Road and Cedar Ridge Drive, and then is currently working on sanitary sewer in Valley View, which is adjacent to the project. So felt like they were definitely qualified and familiar with the area and would do the best job here. This will put a sidewalk on one side of the road and connect it to Markley, which is listed as City Park right now, so that'll get a sidewalk out into the baseball fields in the park area. It includes some street lighting and really just some new pavement. The pavement is in pretty bad shape there, so it will be something that's kind of what put it on our radar. And then last week, Dean correctly pointed out that all of the previous streets in this area have been assessed to the adjacent property owners. So we looked up what the historical allocations had been and have that there in the fiscal note that talks about how the city working with the property owners and basically partnering with them, even though it still does cost them some money. It doesn't cost them all of it. And that's what we see as similar situation here. We don't see why it would be any different. But it would be helpful to start getting the design underway and having the public meetings and going through that process with them. And so we feel like that's where we're at today and anxious to get started on it. So I'll entertain some questions.
Questions right now, Mr. Stack? Commissioner Jennings, did you have a question? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any public comment? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission.
Mayor, I move that we approve the engineering services agreement with Booker, Willis, and Ratliff for the Cedar Ridge Drive improvements in the amount of $52,550. City project number 10-2809.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we approve an engineering services agreement with BWR for the Cedar Ridge Drive improvement, city project number 10-2809. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0.
Mayor, I'd like to move that we recess into executive session for 30 minutes to discuss with legal counsel matters subject to attorney-client privilege for the reason that public discussion of those matters would waive the privilege and adversely affect the city's interest in the matters, and reconvene at 4:56 p.m.
It's been moved and second. Excuse me. Did we have a second on that?
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we recess into executive session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Do we expect any action?
We do not.
Thank you. We are in executive session.